on this computer. Okay, so I guess we have started recording. Hello, students. You're all far away. I think most of you. I just put a Piazza poll asking where exactly you are. So please respond to that. Hopefully everybody is getting the Piazza messages. And if you don't, that's hopefully that's because you haven't signed up to the Piazza yet. So go from the poggers in the chat. Okay. Try not to send weird messages to the chat because I'm trying to see if people say stuff like we cannot hear you. All right. Please go from the class website to the Piazza site. Oh, thank you. And sign up for Piazza because I will be communicating with the class that way. So everybody who signed up for the Piazza site will get messages. Like, for example, the recent message about trying to poll which time zones you are all in. Okay, and with that, let's start. Okay, so my first screen. Okay, and I have I made a poll of students. So let me just launch this polling. See if you get that. You don't have to fill it in straight away, but fill it in at some point during the. Oh, actually, straight away is good too. Okay. I'm glad to hear that most of you seem to be hearing this okay. Okay, so let me see waiting room, no. Oh, admit all, okay. All right. Sorry, there was people on the waiting room. I didn't quite notice. And let me also make it so that I can see your chat. Yes, I can see the chat while presenting. So that requires a few clicks. Sorry about that. Okay, so I will now go to slideshow from the beginning. Okay. Okay, and oh, thanks for sharing the link on the message on the chat to the Piazza for everyone. All right, so guys, and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is ICS 6D. Obviously, you know that this is spring 2020. It's my section, and this is just because there is a second section taught by Professor Gasco. And we always get mails from students who, you know, are well, sign up for one, but then they have a textbook account with a different one. So that always happens at the beginning with some people. So if you are in such a state of confusion, you know, that happens, and just email me or Professor Gasco to sort this out. Don't panic. Like. We always manage to get this so that if you get an account with a textbook, pay $58, it doesn't get wasted, you get transferred to the right section. All right, my name is Stanisław Jarecki. I'm sorry if it's hard to pronounce for some of you. So I'm a professor here at UCI Computer Science. My field is cryptography. And you will notice this in the class. When we get to some cryptographic examples, I would tend to get more excited about them and perhaps put a lot of this stuff, you know, use these type of examples more than other teachers would. So, okay, I can see that some questions are about Canvas. So I'm new to Canvas. So basically, I don't know how to use it. I tried to use it. It doesn't seem like obvious to me how to. So our Canvas site is passive. There's nothing happening on it. And in this lecture, in this administration slide, I will tell you what sites are actually important for the class. So bear with me for a sec. Everything is in that email that you should all have gotten that points to the website for the class, and from that, it points to everything else. All right. So we have 3 TAs, Mehdi Ganji, Shita Shankar Suvarna, and Anna Raichev, and hopefully they will correct my pronunciation of their names soon enough. And the reader is Zhangheng Liang. Every TA's office hours should be on the website soon. So some are posted already, but some haven't decided. So we are trying to place the office hours so that to cover you know, all the locations that you guys are in, and also make it so that they you know, they synchronize with the lectures and discussions and homeworks. So they will be most likely Fridays and Mondays. Excuse me. All right. So lectures, as you know, everything happens online this quarter. So lectures are via Zoom. These hours, Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30 to 10 minutes to 2. And I'm recording this, so it should be recorded and then I can post it online. So I haven't not done so yet, so hopefully that works. I mean, I'm sure this will work. Discussion sections will be done the same way. And we don't know how else to do so. Right now we have 2 sections, both meet on Monday and Wednesday, one at 3, the other at 5. They will be conducted by...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's a lag in audio. I thought it was only for me, but on the chat, I think other people are experiencing it too.
Right. Well, I'm not sure what we can do about it, right? I understand, but I don't have any idea like how we can possibly, you know, do this otherwise. Just bear with me if you can. I understand that there's a lag, but perhaps it's not like you know, that doesn't kill the whole thing. And later, if you have some ideas how to do this, you know, we can post on Piazza or well, okay, we'll see how we can deal with this, right? All right. We have 3 TAs and 2 sections for now. So we'll be scheduling a new section, and there is a Piazza poll for that to test what time zones you guys are in. The new section will be also on Monday and Wednesday, but we'll see what time. For now, just attend one of those sections that we have. And by the way, you can attend both of them or none of them. You know, it's completely up to you. They're taught by 2 different people, so you can watch both of them and participate. But currently, technically, it's going to be fairly primitive because well, sorry for that word, but you know, the TAs are not on campus, so they cannot come to the class and they cannot project from, you know, computers in classes, which could scan and could film what's on the whiteboard. So I have this document camera, but the TAs don't. I'm asking the department if we can buy them document cameras and then reimburse from some educational funds, but they haven't replied yet. I'm not sure this will happen. So for now, they will do, we think of this like this, that the TAs will write what exercises they want to go over. They will post these, and then they will go over those, and then you know, sharing a screen. And you can write on the chat room like some question, and perhaps the TA can sort of in real time write quickly the solution and again scan and upload and go over it. This will not be super you know, great because there will be some time lag, but I'm not sure how to do it otherwise. So that's the plan for now. And office hours will also be through Zoom. So everybody will have 2 hours. So in total, it will be 4 people having 2-hour slots. So we should cover everyone. Okay, and I guess because, so if office hours will be attended by fewer people, or fewer people will actually want to speak during those, so you will not be muted, you will be able to talk, and perhaps at the discussions we can also not mute. Okay, so it depends how many people there are and how many people talk. So this basically, somebody asked if discussions are mandatory. No, so we don't take participation in anything. You don't get any points for participating in this stuff. This is just so you learn stuff. And the zyBooks use UCI ID. You have to put your UCI ID in a zyBook. All right, and discussions will be recorded. All right. Yes. Okay, so maybe I have answered all the questions that were outstanding here. I'm just scanning through them now. Okay. Sorry. I wanted to scan through, sorry about that. Okay, and lecture video recorded, yes. Does it have 2 weeks trail for zyBooks? I don't know what that means. Okay, so go on. Trial, okay, yeah, I hope so. I don't know that, good question. Okay, maybe the students know the answer. Yeah, seems like first chapter, all right. So the main resource is the course webpage. It's in the email. And it has stuff like, our office hours, contact information, email addresses, and so forth, but also schedule of classes, topics, so syllabus, including the reading assignments, and of course, homeworks that we post and the solutions that we post, and the test schedule. But the format of the test, we still have to work this out because we don't know at this point what's really technically feasible. All right. The text is an electronic textbook, and I have used it before in this class. So this is, perfect for distance learning, but we have already used it for a number of quarters. So it's good either way. It's a zyBooks website. It's written by our own Professor Sandy Irani, which is great to have. A resource, close at hand. Oh, somebody says UCI ID or UCI Net ID. Okay, what's the difference? It's no UCI ID, like a ID that you're registered with, like your, when you have a card that says I'm a UCI student, it has an ID number. That's the one. All right. Not the email address, right? All right. So where was we? So there is a code to sign up. That code is on our website, and here it is on the web page on this presentation. The book is $58, which I think is significantly less than average textbook. That's my understanding. So a hard copy would cost you more. And one thing about this is that, yes, it's a subscription. So you get this textbook only for 3 months or, however long the quarter is. However, you can save the PDF. So this is not a complete ripoff, as in you get an access and then it's vanished. No, you can save the PDF of the textbook for future classes, and you should do so because it's a resource, right? You might think this is, you learn this and that's it, but you might come back to this stuff. So save the PDF. All right, the classes, the textbook is necessary, so you have to pay that and register. The reason is that there is exercises in this textbook. It's an electronic textbook. It has exercises in it, and these are required. So we will know if you're doing these exercises or not. The textbook electronic records for all your accounts how much you have done, and this will be part of your grade. So make sure that you use the proper UCI ID when you sign up. Okay, but I mean, if you make some mistake, if few of you do this, then we can catch up and we can correct, but it just cannot be done if too many of you make this mistake. Okay. So there's two types of interactive activities in the textbook. There's some marked participation. They're sort of fast and easy, essentially. And then there's some challenge ones, which require more sort of thinking and sort of thinking about the material. Both are required, okay? So you have to do both of them. So the way it works is that on the syllabus, I say, reading for this week, or for this lecture actually, is section 1, subsection, chapter 1, sections 1 to 5. And that means that you have to do all the participation and challenge activities in these. Now, we will not monitor when you do this, okay? So of course, it makes most sense to do this as the lectures happen and as the discussions happen and as the homework happens, right? And as the tests happen, right? If you choose to postpone all of this and for some reason, you want to do this later, you can. It just makes much less sense, obviously, right? So, but we understand, we don't want to monitor, like force you to do this exactly before class, because we understand that your time is variable and you might have, there's all sort of mess that happens because of this coronavirus situation. So we chose not to monitor the timing, but obviously, you're adults and you should do this, because it just makes sense to do this on time. And somebody else, is this the same as 6B? Yes, it is the same. However, if you take the class at the same time with 6B, I don't think that technically, maybe they will give you some sort of discount that you purchase both the 6B and 6D subscription. But I don't remember if they do that or they know. Okay, somebody says they give you 50% discount. It's great. Okay, I'm glad to hear that, because maybe post online how do you go about on a Piazza, getting that discount, so other people can find it, because this chat, I'm not really sure that this is recorded, right? So so it's hard to find anything in it. All right, sorry about this. Okay, thanks so much for posting this though. All right, going on. So textbook also has a technical support. You can use these links and emails, but the thing is that sometimes it goes offline. I noticed this. Sometimes the textbook, it's a website, and I expect, unfortunately, that during these times, like probably there is more demand for these electronic textbooks. So it might be that these websites will perform worse. In general, I noticed like our UCI websites were performing pretty badly, yesterday and during the spring break. But okay. So you have to bear with this, that sometimes it goes off. All right. So here's the schedule of the class. So as you know, lectures are Tuesday and Thursday, and lectures are Tuesday and Thursday, and I will try to make it so that it's in logical blocks, like, that the topics done on Tuesday and Thursday of the same week, make sense together. And also there's two discussions, right? One on Monday, one on Wednesday. But we'll schedule them so the Wednesday discussion is already dealing with the same topics that are introduced during the lectures during this week. But But the next week, the Monday discussion that deals with stuff that was done in the previous week, right? It's kind of like a reinforcement. Also, the schedule of homework will be that they will be released on Tuesday and due the next Tuesday. So that's why the discussions on Wednesday and the next Monday, make sense that it's scheduled that way. Solutions should be released, pretty soon after the homeworks are due. And then there is this, test. Okay, so every 2 weeks we'll have a test that will deal with 2 weeks, except at the beginning. So the first test is only on it's from the first 3 weeks of the class, and it's happening on the 4th week. Okay, I'll get to that soon. All right, so homework. You will upload it to Gradescope. You all should have accounts, and they are linked to your registrar, user IDs and sorry, not user IDs, UCI IDs and emails. And everybody should get a message from Gradescope that they have an account. They will be due 5 p.m. Tuesday. We will not accept late homeworks because we will be releasing solutions soon after. So again, when are the readings due? They are not. Okay, so you basically do them on your own at your own time, but of course it makes most sense that you do them, in a way that is synchronized with lectures and everything else. Homework will have, because of the number of students in the class and limited resources that we have on our end, I don't think it is possible, it's feasible that the readers and TAs verify every question that all the questions on the homework. Rather, homework is really thought of as an exercise for you to go through the stuff and then basically self-evaluate when you see the solutions. I will only ask the reader and the TH to check for sort of overall completeness, but even that I think is going to be fairly rudimentary. And then select 1 or 2 problems to grade in detail. Now that actually might not make sense on all homeworks, because some of the material is such that it's really kind of there's not much feedback we can give you. We can just tell you it's obvious. It should be obvious that you compare 2 solutions and you see. And it's more time effective if you don't understand why the solution is the way it is, and because you had a completely different one. So then come with that to office hours or to the discussion, rather than us scanning 200 homeworks, to just to find a few that try to solve it in a completely different way. So that's, but there is exceptions. There is certain type of exercises that actually would benefit from great detailed reading. And for example, induction or recursive data structures. So this is the kind of thing that is kind of gives a lot of students, it's you have to bend your mind around it. And that really benefits in my view from personalized attention. So we'll try to grade those problems in detail. But basically, that's that's my philosophy on how this is done. Now, technically, you will upload your stuff to Gradescope. You will upload a PDF, not JPEG, and you assign page numbers on the solutions to every problem. And when it's graded, you get it by email. And if the grader, for the problem that is graded in detail, you should get comments. So please look at them, because it takes effort to create them. And for now, you know, the idea that we have for how to administer tests is basically, it's like a glorified homework. You get the test on the PDF. If you cannot print it, you just look at your screen and you write solutions on the piece of paper, or you type them, you know, whatever you prefer. It also depends on the type of questions that are asked. And you scan and upload. After the test is done, you scan those written responses and you upload them, and we give you enough time margin. So that's our plan for now, which means that we will need everybody in the class to have an ability to scan using some form of camera. So either a camera on the phone, or a camera on a webcam. Frankly, I don't know how the second option really works. I've never done that. Okay, so that's our plan. If somebody doesn't have an ability to scan, then I guess they are in trouble, and we have to somehow adjust to them. But it somehow never happens that people say that they cannot scan. So hopefully it will not happen this time. But of course, if you really cannot scan, let me know. Okay. Well, this is the stuff I already said that. So just reiterating the same things. I'm trying to look at your questions. Yes, so there's tons of apps, as somebody just said. Okay. There's tons of apps that you can use to scan. Just Google it, and they all create a PDF. And I guess somebody who knows them can post them on Piazza. Like what's the best ones, and they're free too. Test multiple choices. I've never done that, so probably not. And sample tests. Okay, tests are so in the past the tests are similar to homeworks. So okay, I will actually talk about this in a second. So hold on a minute. So course grades, homework 10%, reading 10%. So these are these participation and creative activities I talked about. There are 4 tests, all mandatory, and no midterm and no final. And there is one big disclaimer, that if organizing these tests is technically too hard, or we cannot ensure fairness, basically, okay, then we'll have to think of some alternative solutions, and all the way to basically having a one-on-one kind of an oral exam at the end of the class. So that's the most, that's the least time that you will spend with us, but it's an intensive time, right? I mean, we'll see, because we don't know at this point for sure that these tests can be done in a timely and fair manner. Okay. So that's a disclaimer, because typically students want to know exactly how the grading is going to be done at the beginning of the class, and I surely understand this. But at the same time, this is a new situation, and we will have to have some flexibility in this. All right. So in the past, I used, because there were 4 tests during the class, and no final exam, which students, as far as I understood from the polls, after the class was done, students appreciated this. They liked the spread across the semester, and that kind of freed them up for other classes for the final exam. And I used the final exam slot for a remedial exam. So we have different people. So typically, you know, because it's an introductory class, we have very different people with different background, as in like mathematical maturity. And my idea was that I could see that people who have sort of not a very strong math background struggle in the class, but still maintain progress. So and another thing is that this class is a little bit of an outlier in a computer science program. So, you know, you can be a very good coder and not have a great mathematical skills. So I don't want to, you know, cut you, right, if you are like this. And but I do want, you know, people, I mean, I do believe this stuff is important, and I mean, in many ways, more than one, okay? But we try to adjust for people, you know, who basically don't have a strong background at the beginning. So that's the idea of the remedial exam. It's a little complicated technically, like people always ask, like, who is able to participate? The idea of this always was that basically this is only for people who would fail if they didn't take it. So it's not an ability to, if anybody, to increase their grade. It is just for people who fail. And it is, if they do well on this, then they don't fail. Okay, and that's it. All right, a class curved. You know, this curved business, like technically there is no such thing. I mean, it doesn't mean much, but okay. So, but I guess the answer is yes, because what people understand as curved is the following: that, like, say we have grades from 0 to 100, and we just say 90 to 100 is A, 80, 90 is B, 70, 80 is C. That's not what I do. So I look at the grades and I evaluate basically how hard I think this whole thing was, and I adjust margins based on that. And I will never tell you what the margins were, okay? Because if somebody was right at the margin, then this is impossible, you know. Somebody will always be at the margin, right? So then, you know, try to do your best throughout the class, right? I don't have any other advice than that, but it will be based on my, you know, and the TA's subjective sense of how difficult this material was, and what really qualifies as the excellent performance, and what qualifies as a sort of mediocre performance, and what qualifies as a failing performance, okay? All right. All right, so that's about the remedial exam. This is the test schedule for now. It's also on the syllables. These are the topics roughly that will be happening on these. They are subject to adjustments, because we'll see how, well, in general, topics are subject to adjustments, but they roughly should correspond to the weeks and the homeworks. All of this should be, is you know, I'm hoping to do it always in sync. Okay, so questions on grading. So there will be regrades, but you will only have a week. So we cannot deal with like regrades, tons of regrades in the past. You have a time to look through your homework, ask for regrade if there is an issue, but that's it. And you will have a week to do so, which should be enough time. Okay. Lectures are pre-recorded and they will be posted online, and you should watch them, because you know, there will be slides, but the slides don't capture the whole thing, and I will use the document camera to basically have like a handwritten stuff that will emulate the Blackboard. So I can post them too, but they will not be so easy to understand if you just see the snapshot. Okay, and as you can see, I'm trying to follow the chat to answer your questions real time. So try not to email us with questions, and instead post them on Piazza. You can post on Piazza in a way that is private to your fellow students. We prefer if you don't do that, because it's a kind of, I mean, like, somehow when you ask a private questions, and I mean, in my mind at least, there is a sense like, oh, you think that this is somehow dangerous stuff or whatever, right? So sometimes, of course, people want to ask private questions, which is fine, which is good, and you should if you need to. But if you ask some questions about, you know, or have some idea about how to solve a problem, perhaps you should consider doing it without anonymity. The thing is that everybody can respond to this. So TAs can respond, I can respond, other students can respond. Other students can post like, oh, here is a similar problem. Like, here is we always want you, you know, please do not give out the solution, right? Like, if you understand how to do it and somebody else does not, give them some hint, perhaps give them some suggestion for what else to read, but correct a solution that is posted and has an error, but, you know, don't basically give out the solution so everybody can copy it. So I hope you all understand what that means. All right. Yes, and also administrative questions, and you can tag your questions, tag posts with like, so this is this homework 1 post or homework 2 or discussion or whatever, right? Okay. And I think that you can set it so that you get email from Piazza, but I'm not sure. I get emails every time somebody posts anything to the Piazza. I think you can set it up so that you get like a snapshot every day, or you get immediate email. Question. Oh, and but some emails that I write, some posts, I tag as an immediate email. Okay, so these are the ones that I just want everybody to know immediately, right? Like, for example, ID of a Zoom meeting, or some change in homework, I don't know, correction, and so forth. Do you have to know things from 6B? No, no. They are supposed to be separate, although it helps, but no. And in fact, the beginning of the class goes quickly over the kind of stuff that you would do in 6B as well. But that said, for people with sort of weak mathematical maturity, it does help if they go through 6B first. Yeah, but we go over some part of the material, and the 2 classes are supposed to be independent. It's just that you train more math skills in the other class, which always helps. Okay. Okay, so discussions, Piazza, office hours are places for questions. What are the accounts? So the zyBooks, the Gradescope, the Piazza. The Gradescope, everybody is registered already. zyBooks and Piazza, you have to do it on your own, and the links and instructions are at the class webpage. So there are 2 information, you know, centers: webpage and the Piazza, which just contains like you know, ongoing discussions and posts. But all the homework solutions will be posted, syllabus, slides, and Zoom links will be posted on the web page. We'll see Zoom links exactly. Okay. Yes, the reading grade is the zyBooks assignment. Yes. Sorry. Okay, and office hours are all online as well. Okay, so in the regular classroom, you know, when we have classes normally, the office hours are usually underpopulated. Maybe now that we are all remote, they will be populated better anyway by already. But just and we'll see how many people come to these. And Zoom has this feature that you can sort of queue with questions, and that the person can basically, who runs this, can click on the next person who was in line. So this way you can line up with your questions, but you can listen to the conversations. Okay, so we'll see. So this is a necessary slide, academic honesty. Look, we have issues with this every time. Very few people, okay, but it does happen, and it creates a very awkward situation, because basically we are obligated to report incidents of academic dishonesty. Please read the school policy, and the purpose of this is that somebody who is, you know, acting dishonest in one class, and then, you know, cries and says that they will never do this again, and goes on and does this again in another class. So there needs to be a central place that takes this input from all the classes. So this is about collaboration on homework, and which is allowed normally. Well, I guess it will be hard now remotely, but you should collaborate with no more than, you know, in groups of maximum 3. And if you're dispersed and separate, then I'm not really sure how you can do that anyway, or whether it will be helpful in any way. But whenever you work with someone, you have to write up solutions individually. So you cannot write and then the other person copies. And you have to acknowledge this collaboration. Here's what happens when you don't. We don't know whether both of you have if 2 solutions look similar, but they don't acknowledge collaboration. We don't know, we think that you have basically copied it from some website, which is even worse, right? Then I mean, it's definitely worse than working together. Working together is fine. Copying from each other is not. But working together is fine. So acknowledge this. And you have to get used to this. Whenever you get something that you use in your work, you have to acknowledge it and you have to reference it. It has to be a habit. We get, you know, news from, we're talking about, you know, with other faculty, how to organize this in these online versions of classes. And somebody pointed out that friends of theirs had a startup that UCI graduate was one of the co-founders. Startup had 100 people, and because of the dishonesty of one person, basically they used code from that they were not supposed to, they were not licensed. Basically the whole company had to close. So I mean, these are the kind of things, you know, in an academic world where you publish and you publish something without acknowledgement, you know, that's a killer. That's like, you really, I mean, we don't know what to do with you. You know, such a person is kind of, I mean, it's hard to crawl out of the hole, basically. So this stuff matters in the real world, and a student should learn it. Dishonesty is a, you know, it's a killer of trust between faculty and students, and also between students and faculty and students and one another, because it is horribly unfair if somebody, you know, does their best to do the stuff and another person cheats and they get ahead, and that's not, you know, we don't look on that kindly, and I think most of you wouldn't either. So so please don't do that. And on the tests, you know, we'll see how we can basically ensure fairness on the test, whether it's technically feasible. We hope that it is, and that the academic honesty policies would enforce that everybody does this in an honest manner. So look, guys, I think okay. There's just one more sort of thing that I wanted to point out to you, is that when people attend lectures, you know, in a normal setting, they tend to do better in the class. It's just, I mean, I'm not saying that what I'm telling you is like such a great, amazing stuff and you cannot learn it from the textbook. Yes, you can. You can learn it from other lectures online. You can learn it from the textbook. The thing is that it's also easiest to attend, you know, to attend these lectures, right? They are synchronized with the stuff that we are teaching the best. And the people who do so tend to do much better in the class. So at least, you know, so here are some statistics from previous years, and here is some correlation basically between people, like when we measured attendance, then people who attend turn to, I mean, they do much better than people who don't, right? So it's clear, every statistic you put, right? And it's not a coincidence. Of course, I understand that some people might be overworked and overbooked, and the situation is different, and you know, they're trying to go through this class and they don't have enough time to listen and to do everything. And you know, it's just that you will struggle in the class if you do so. But you know, for those of you who do have the time, there's no excuse for not doing so. And with that said, I guess that's a good time to end the class. I have just unmuted you all, and I will just look through your chats. So yeah, I see some links. I don't know what they say. I hope that this chat stays open after the Zoom meeting ends. I don't know technically if that's the case, so we'll have to test that.
It does not, actually. It doesn't. Once you close the meeting, everything is lost, like all the Zoom chat, everything.
Yeah.
It's only
do you want me to just like copy this?
Can we collaborate on homework?
You know, I guess I'm copying this whole thing. I don't know whether there's a point in that, but just in case, I'm copying the whole thing.
There's
so
a software called Yuja.
Say it again.
There's a software called Yuja, Yuja 2.0, and from there, what you could do, you could also record the lectures that you have in the Zoom, and you could also post them on your sites.google page for ICS 60 Spring 2020.
Okay. So that software, unlike Zoom by itself, keeps the chat.
I think so. I haven't used it. I'm not a faculty member, so I don't know.
So is that the reason why you suggest this? What's the difference?
It's the same thing. You're still using Zoom, but Yuja records you at the same time.
Oh, this thing records me too. I think. I hope. I just switched on the recording. So
there is a recording shown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Never mind. Yeah, you have the red light blinking.
Okay. All right, but it might be that this other website is better in some way. So let's see. Any other quick questions or comments?
Yeah, Professor. Can we collaborate on homework?
Collaborate on what?
Homework.
Yes, in groups up to 3. But you have to write up your solutions independently, and you have to acknowledge collaboration. So you have to state that you collaborated with X and Y.
Wouldn't it be better if we all submit just a copy while indicating all the?
Yeah. Okay. No, because I think that there's a value in everybody writing separately. Yeah.
Right. As
Okay.
far as
Well,
as far
okay.
as Gradescope, it does.
If this is a big problem for the graders, we will change this.
Because
I will
as far
consider.
as I'm sorry to interrupt. As far as Gradescope, it does allow you to indicate like who you've collaborated with, and from last quarter's EECS 148 course, and what they did was, you can just submit one copy while linking, everyone who worked on this in order to actually, just integrate as a reference.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, I didn't know that. So I will look into it and check with my TAs to see if that's a better way. But for now, it's said write stuff individually, and then we'll change if that's better, if the other option is better.
Sure. I've also forwarded you a link to like the exporting instructor. I think he's using I don't know what the other app is called, the PG or
Thank you.
whatever.
Thank you so much.
That's for recording and posting it.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Is there some other questions?
Will the test be proctored?
Test, well, okay, you know what? I don't know how technically we will be able to do this. So that's one big challenge for us, like how exactly we do this. Oh yeah. So,
I have a question, Professor.
So for now, by the way, I'm requiring everybody who sign up to have a webcam. Please make a note of that.
Test. Wait, so everyone has to have a webcam when we do Zoom lectures?
Yeah, you don't have to show me your face during lectures. The webcam is for testing.
Oh, what software are you using?
We don't know yet. I know. I do for this online for monitoring testing. We have to check. But technically,
okay, for
if
sure.
you have a webcam, everything should work.
聊一节课先。
我们先讲一节课规则。
Any other questions for now?
Quick question about exams. So with the exams, will they be like a fill in the blank, or they will be like a conventional exam where we have to where it's an open free response where we
You
have
know what? For now, I'm thinking of open free response and just upload them the same way you upload the homework. But if you know, some other faculty or someone explains to me like a better way, the thing is that, you know, solutions have to work for not every solution works for every class. We have different material and different content, right? So sometimes it makes sense for you to draw something, and the software is not really good at drawing, you know, etc. So for now, just prepare yourself for the that tests are like homeworks. You have to scan them. If there is a change, but we'll look at other possibilities.
Okay. And your schedule is the same on the website? Because what I saw from the website, it says from somewhere from 2018. Is it the same thing that we're going to be doing? Like the first day is just going to be like logistics. Second day, you read the sections from 1.1 to 1.5.
So the website has a syllabus that is only for the next 4 weeks. And if you want to look ahead, like what kind of topics are covered in the rest of the class, then you should look at the previous edition of the class, because I plan to cover almost the same stuff. I mean, maybe I managed to cover more actually, because if we do tests and a lecture is separate from the test, so in a regular edition, lecture, you know, test was at lecture time. So I couldn't lecture at the time. I guess now I can post a lecture in addition to a test. So we'll see. But that for, you know, you can see roughly what was covered in the previous class, and you should expect the same. But the readings for the next 4 weeks and are already on our syllabus.
For the
for the readings in the zyBooks, Professor, do you recommend that we have those done before the lecture, or is it okay to do them after?
Either way. I mean, you know, some people think that it's better before class. I mean, yes, it is before. It is better if you do this. Then you are like, I think you're getting stuff more from the lecture if you actually read the stuff before. But it's okay. I think most people, you know, in the past were reading after, and so it's also fine.
An hour and 20 minutes for a single bit of content.
Anyone else?
I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to, because you know how
will
first lecture they don't record it.
will the lecture recordings be posted on the class website?
Yes. I will try to do that right now. I have not done this before, but you know, it should work. I mean, I'm recording it locally, so I should be able to post it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Will the online textbook work be graded for completeness or for accuracy?
You know, because it's if you don't do this correctly, then the homework, the textbook doesn't acknowledge the stuff. So it's basically, these exercises are set in such a way that you have to do them correctly in order to do them at all.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Professor?
Mm-hmm.
Are we required to do the additional exercises on zyBook?
There is exercises are marked as either participation or creative, I think. C, T or C.
Like at the end of the participation in the challenge parts,
yes.
There's like a small section that says additional exercises. Are we required to do those?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, I think you think they're always there. Maybe sometimes they're there. Yeah.
Usually they're like at the bottom of like every like kind of portion of like the chapters, like each like chapter sections. Like there's like a portion. Yeah.
You know what? No. You know what? These are the exercises that I use often for homeworks.
Okay.
And also I will, whenever I don't use them for homework, then I open up a solution. So because they're often kind of similar. So you check yourself on the ones that is not on the homework, and therefore the solution is actually available to you. And then you do the one that is on the homework and the solution is not available. But then the solution is made available after the homework is due. So this is extra ones, additional exercises.
Hello, Professor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? I mistakenly subscribed to Professor Gasco's channel on zyBook. So can I use that version? If I cancel it, I won't get discount.
Don't know exactly. Just hold on. Email me and Professor Gasco this, and we'll basically email the publisher to switch you. Because it's like the zyBook people that put you in a column of Gasco, and they can change you to a column of me. But it might take time. Hopefully not too long.
He's
lagging. So email us straight away.
Thank you. Okay.
Anyone else?
Is there a way you could fix the lagging issue with the, is there a way you could fix the lagging issue? Because like your voice is cutting off here and there. So are you on a wireless or you're connected somewhere through a desktop?
I am on wired. I am on wired.
Mm-hmm.
So not sure what I can be doing better.
Sorry to interrupt. Would you consider giving out sample tests before the exams?
Sample tests? No, because the tests, I use these kind of questions, and I don't want to, they take time to create these So I don't want to release them. And also, the recommendations that the test questions are similar to homework questions. Although there could be some, type of questions that kind of ask you to do stuff in a more creative way, right? So I do want to have this ability to do so, but the best stuff is to understand the problems from the homework, to do additional exercises, as I just said, right? Yeah, there is sort of no surprise. Like this is this material is kind of goes in lockstep. You know what kind of questions are basically make sense, and what is the range of questions that we ask on this. Yes.
So if the activities and zyBooks are non-mandatory, how are you gonna grade us on the readings?
No. Participation and challenge activities are necessary, and you are measured on those. There is an additional bunch of exercises that are called, they're marked as additional exercises. These are not. So there is a separation. There is participation, challenge, and additional. Participation and challenge required. Additional, no.
Will that be evaluated at the end?
And zyBooks, right? The website.
Yes, basically the zyBook keeps track. And what I do at the end is just I download everyone's activity from the zyBook, and I don't pay attention to when you do this.
Thank you.
Now, but please be adults and do this on time, because it's sort of it's kind of a waste if you don't.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Professor?
Yes.
Will the Canvas website be used at all during this course?
No.
Oh,
there's nothing happening on the Canvas site. All these other sites have stuff, and that's because I use these other things. I've used them now for a while, and changing to Canvas, it just confuses me, and I don't know whether it has everything that I really need. So sorry about that if you are new to these other websites.
How will our grades be progress, or how can we watch our grades progress throughout the quarter?
Oh, Gradescope has all your grades. So everything you can see, how you perform on every test. Now, what you don't know is whether your performance is like a B performance or an A performance. But you will not know till the end of the class. I mean, you can just use a common sense, if you have scores like 90 something, of course you're doing great. And if you have scores like 60 something, you're doing sort of barely okay. Yeah. Can you say this again?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a way that we can calculate our grades before?
No, a letter grade in the class, no, because I have to be able to just look at all the performance and sort of evaluate by myself, like how hard the overall class was. And it's basically up to my discretion to set these boundaries, what constitutes an A, what constitutes a B. So, no, I mean, I can just tell you that this whole arrangement with the remedial exam, only something like 10 at most, no more than 10% needed to take it in the past, actually less than 10%, and out of those, most would pass. So the people who fail is the 1/3 or 1/4 of a small percentage. So 5 in the class of 200, or
prepared yourself for the next round? I practiced the whole time. It's a tough act, so sleight of hand.
I'm not going to ask too many questions because I like being surprised.
All right. Well, before I begin, I'm going to need one spectator. So, Olivia, would you mind?
Okay, I think we are getting some other audio now. So guys, is there some more questions about this class?
Yeah, I have just the clarification. Is the zyBooks the same as the readings? Like when you refer to zyBooks, is that the same as saying that you're referring
yes.
to things?
Yes, reading is zyBooks.
Okay, thank you.
The only challenge and participation activities that we have are like the ones that are assigned, right? Like 1 to 1.10.
Yes.
So we don't have to do 1.11 and stuff like that?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
So Professor, the final grade of our, the final score of our grades are curves?
Yes. Yes.
So regardless of how well we done, if others do better, there will still got the chance that we are not so well graded.
I see what you mean. Yeah, yes. Look, what I'm saying is not it's not a scale that I can commit to myself right now. So you cannot I cannot tell you that everything above 70% will be a passing grade. Okay, like I have to adjust it to our sense of how hard this stuff was, and you know, it also depends on how we grade you. I mean, basically, you know, how much detail we use. You know, we might grade very harshly, or we might grade less harshly. I don't know at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Okay, guys. So you know, so if you don't have other questions, we'll see you and you know, get to your discussions next on Wednesday. I guess, you know what, maybe the discussions on Wednesday will be organizational, like if you want to chat about some technical issues, but I think that it doesn't make sense to start technical stuff because I didn't get to it in the lecture. So discussions on Wednesday might be short.
So then the official first day of instruction, or not official, but as far as material coverage will be Thursday?
Yes, because yes, I'm not sure what should the discussion, but I mean, you know what, maybe I ask the discussion guys to just start up with some material. Okay, I guess I should commit to it right now, right? No, I think that the discussions tomorrow will be organizational and not really about the technical stuff.
So our discussions aren't mandatory then, right? They're just, you know.
They are not mandatory in general. Like they never were in the class.
I don't think he can make them mandatory for the students that are in different time zones. It would be
unfair. But I didn't do that. Like even in when we were all on campus. I mean, basically discussions was like, you know, you came if you felt like you wanted to do some exercises on this topic and to listen to another examples. And if you felt like you don't want to do it, then you don't.
How are the tests going to work regarding like time zones? Does everyone have to take it at the same time?
We'll see how many people we have in different time zones and then go by that. Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't know the answer right now. Let's see how people, you know, what time zones people are, how many. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So guys, keep us posted if you have some special circumstances, because they're not unusual right now. And clearly, as you can see, no, I haven't thought through everything, and I don't know some of the options that you might know about. And students were helpful today pointing out, you know, other options with which we can do stuff. So, you know, keep it coming. If you have something useful, post it on Piazza, let us know. And see you tomorrow at the discussions and on Thursday in lecture. Thank you so much.
Professor.
Thank you. Bye.